Okay, so one of the things we're going to do today is replace our fuel filter on the tractor, and this is a pretty common, this is a diesel tractor, and this uses what's called a cartridge style fuel filter. And this is it right here. So very small fuel filter goes in it, and if we look over here, it is actually mounted on the side of the engine right here. So I have a couple parts on here I want to point out. So as you can see right here, I have a little valve. This valve is to stop flow from the tank through the filter. And then also you can see that we have this right here. Now this is screwed on. We're going to try to unscrew this to get this bowl off. And you can kind of see inside here, here's the bowl and here's the filter. Now because this is a diesel, we want to make sure this bowl is full when we put it back up. Okay, so we can see right here, we have the drain valve. This goes up to the fuel tank, so I want to close this, and then I'm going to need a tool to unscrew this so I can get to the fuel filter inside. I want to make sure I have a drain pan here, and the fuel filter, this is a bowl, you can kind of see the filter inside here, and what we want to do is when I put this back together, I want to make sure I have fuel in here, otherwise I'll have an air pocket going over to my pump, and my tractor is not going to want to start properly. So this is very typical on a diesel engine where I need to make sure that the filter is filled if I'm working on an older mechanical pump diesel engine. So let's go ahead and work on getting the drain pan underneath and work on unscrewing this. Now I'm going to use channel locks here, and this should hopefully just unscrew nicely for me. I don't want to go too tight with it because I don't want to crush it. And you can see very easily it breaks loose. You don't need a lot of force. You saw the first time when I went to move it, it was a little tight. And so now I'm going to unscrew this. And it dropped down. Now inside here, we also have an O-ring. Oops. And we can see our filter. And you can see this filter looks a lot dirtier. It actually got a little bit of algae in it, which is very common, and some other sediment. And that's why we want to make sure we change that. We also want to get the stuff out of the bottom of the bowl. So you can see here how dirty the bowl is at the bottom. I'll dump out the fluid, and you can see how much sediment has ended down the bowl. So we're going to clean this bowl out with some brake cleaner and get all this stuff out of the bottom, and then we'll be ready to put the new filter in. Okay, so I got my new filter, and I'm going to install my filter on the bottom here, and it has a little rubber seal right here that'll pop right on. Now normally I'd want to replace this O-ring right here. Unfortunately this fuel filter didn't come with one, so I'm going to put that over. I'm going to line that up straight, and then I also have my sealing ring that puts tension on it. So I'm going to just feed this up, and I want to feed this right through. Now if you notice right now my bowl is empty. Okay, I got that started. So if I drop my bowl down a little bit and I open the valve, see how it fills up? And it'll fill up to the top. And there we go. I just leaked a little bit out so I know my filter's full. And now I can seal it up. So that means I won't have an air pocket stuck there causing the tractor not to run. So I've got this pretty snug, and I should be able to just snug it up by hand. I'm going to try it by hand first. If I need more, I can always use the pliers. But the problem is it's going to get tighter over time. So I really don't want to go too much. I'll probably give it a little bit of a snug with the pliers here because it is a diesel. It does vibrate a lot. But again, I don't want to be too tight. So we're going to now start it up. I'm going to wipe it off and check it for leaks. Now, if you saw what I did there, what I did is I left the valve closed, so as the pump ran, it pulled it low a little bit there, and I could see that. Now, that's not air, that's actually a vacuum. So therefore, as soon as I turn the valve back on, I would see fuel go right into it. If I had a leak, I would not have generated the vacuum because the air is lighter than the fuel, and I would have pulled air into the injection pump, and that would have let me know I had a leak. Because this is gravity feed, there's no pressure here. So I was better off checking for a leak with vacuum than I was testing for a leak with pressure since I have no pressure. So now I can clean it up the rest of the way, and it'll be ready to go back into service.